Back again, Democratic Congressman Brad Sherman of California, CNN national political correspondent Jessica Yellen, and our senior congressional correspondent Dana Bash. Let's talk more about this debate and how different it is. Yes, there's a big policy difference, but politically it's very different from the health care debate. And you had an example in the Senate today where the Democratic senators called a press conference and they started playing video of Republicans saying things about this bill, essentially trying to call them and saying these are not true. Now, the Republicans, of course, would disagree, but the Democrats had a very aggressive strategy, and as they played these videos, Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, wanted to make this point.
Bottom line, on the health care bill, we allowed too many lies to get out there without rebuttal because we thought they were so obviously untrue. But we've learned our lesson. And the minute these things come out of the mouths of some of our Republican colleagues, we rebut them. And we rebut them again and again.
Congressman, to you first, since you're in the middle of the politics, a lot of people make comparisons to the last big debate, and that was health care. Democrats handling this better, with more discipline? Obviously, you disagree with some of your Democratic friends about some of the language.
Well, I think this is going to be at least a 60-vote bill in the Senate, so it'll probably end up being a 70-vote bill. I expect substantial Republican support. The politics of this bill are different in two ways. First, we need 60 votes, which means that we need some Republican support. And second, we have much broader public support. You can argue, we'd like to argue that Native Americans like the health care bill, but there was a strong rebuttal to that. Yeah. Americans want us to control Wall Street. Now, it's a 1,400-page bill, and it's up to us to talk about the details of the bill. But they want derivatives controlled. They want consumer protection. They want higher capital requirements.
So you have a win you didn't have in the health care debate.
Exactly. There are a lot of Republicans who want to vote for a good Wall Street bill. I'm not sure they wanted to vote for health care.
And did you guys see that in your reporting in the sense that, remember, a week ago, Republicans were saying no, 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 and then all of a sudden Senator Shelby was back in the room negotiating, Senator Corker was pushing, negotiating. Something happened where the Republicans said, let's get back in the room.
They see the train leaving the station. I think the congressman is right. Republicans see the train leaving the station. But what was so interesting to me about the Democrats and their political tactics today, you just played that from Senator Schumer, that they are so intent on learning the lessons from health care, really how they botched the politics of health care. I was told by Democratic sources the goal is define or be defined. So that's why you heard that very, very harsh rhetoric from the Democrats, which belied what's going on, which is, as the congressman said, really earnest bipartisan talks.
And the other piece of this is they approached this very differently even from the beginning. The administration, unlike health care when they were endlessly criticized for never presenting a plan to Congress, the administration gave almost 800 pages of legislative language to Capitol Hill last summer on Wall Street reform and has been quietly working with Democrats behind the scenes. So they knew all along what the White House wanted. They guided this. Big difference.
Also working behind the scenes are lobbyists for these financial institutions that don't like a lot of this. And I want to put some numbers up on the screen because there are new numbers out from the Center of Responsive Politics, which does a great job tracking the money in our political system. First quarter Wall Street lobbying, the first 3 months of 2010, as this bill has been being debated in Congress. Goldman Sachs lobbying up 70%. Morgan Stanley, this comparative to last year's first quarter. Morgan Stanley up 50%. Wells Fargo up 46%. Bank of America up 38%. Morgan Chase and Citigroup up in the teens. Congressman, you're on the receiving end of this. We could argue this is America. They have every right to lobby their elected representatives, but you could also look at that list and say a lot of those people got taxpayers' money, and they can say we paid it back. But is it unseemly, the process, or is it how it works?
Well, they haven't been lobbying me all that much because I was against TARP to begin with. They don't have me in their persuadable column. And I think they've paid back the TARP money, but the key thing for us to do.
But when you walk the halls, are you proud to be a member of Congress when all this is happening? Or are we wrong to say, oh my God, look at all that money being spent to lobby? Is it just the American way?
It has been the American way. We have a political system we're used to, and it certainly has some problems. Perhaps public financing would be a good direction to go in. But they have a right to have their voices heard. It's just
You've been critical of this bill, though. Are they getting something for this money, in your view?
Less and less. I would say that I wasn't a real fan of the original White House proposal, or rather Treasury Department proposal. I think we made major changes in the House. We're seeing the Senate move in the right direction. And on issues this big that are front page day after day, 50 lobbyists per member are less important. It's on the issues that the public isn't focused on where lobbyists can be effective.
Well, I appreciate the conversation tonight, Congressman Brad Sherman, Jessica Yellen, and Dana Bash. Thanks so much. We've a lot more to learn about this, and we'll continue as it apparently moves through the Senate, and then maybe you'll let us sit in on some of the conference committee hearings, Congressman.
Okay.
For